question.
I wanted to build on, and I wanted to say thank you for you all presenting. My son and I have been talking. My son is dyslexic, and he's not going to stand up. He's not going to ask a question. But he is preparing to go into the 6th grade, and this is the first time we are moving him into a school specifically for young people with dyslexia. But as we're talking, one of the things that he just asked me is, when does it get better? And so can you talk a little bit about that moment when it clicked and how it felt to be able to start understanding how you process differently and what that really felt like? Because this is going to be a brand new school. He's just going in. He knows why we're going and what this is about, but this hasn't become real yet. And so can you talk a little bit about just that moment or that time when what you were beginning to learn about how you process clicked and the power that, or just what you felt when that happened? Thank you.
Okay, so for my experience, when it got better was when I felt that I wasn't dumb. It got better when I learned how I learned, and I think that's the best thing that you have to do. I do a 4-colored pen. I use a 4-colored pen, and what that does for me is it gives me a better visual, and I learned that I was a visual learner. There's a bunch of different type of learners, but for me, I am visual. And I know that in college, what helps a lot is sitting in the front row. No one wants to do it. No one wants to do it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna be there. But when you sit in the front row, it's personal. It's one-on-one, and no matter what, they'll never forget your name because they see you right there every day. But besides the 300 behind you, you're right there. You're not gonna get 1,000 questions asked on you just because you're in the front row, but it's gonna help you a lot. And I think that's when it gets better. When you learn that, okay, no one's behind me, I'm just alone, and it's personal. I'm with the teacher. And actually the classes that I've been doing, I started sitting in the front row, and the rest of the dyslexic students have been sitting in the front with me. And so it all works out and we're all together, and we don't feel weird about sitting in the front. It actually helps us a lot.
Yeah. Well, first I would like to say to the young man who's going to 6th grade that don't worry, 6th grade, enjoy, you're in middle school. 6th grade is gonna be great. You're gonna make a ton of friends. It's gonna be wonderful. Sorry, I had to be a little mother there. Don't be nervous, it's gonna be wonderful. But yes, sitting in the front row is the best. Like, I was scared to sit in the front row. I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna pick on me to read out loud, and I was freaking out and everything, but it's the best. Like, first of all, they don't even pick on you. They pick on the people behind you because that's where they're looking. They're not looking in the front all the time. And it forces, like, sitting in the front forces you to listen. You don't have a choice but to listen. Your little friends are sitting in the back or whatever, doing yada, 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 chit-chatting, but you're sitting in the front, you're forced to listen. And like in the movie, like they said that you listen to words more because it's hard for you to read them. Yeah, you're forced to listen to them. And I say that it got better for me when I, like I said, found that niche, like what got me interested in school. And believe it or not, I really, really like writing and reading. The two things that I've struggled with, I really, really enjoy doing it. I probably just like to do stuff that people tell me I can't do, but it really, like, once I found that niche, and I was like, whoa, I can write. Who cares if nobody can read what I have to say? When I get on stage and I perform, nobody's like looking at my work. And it gets better once you find out that nobody really knows you're dyslexic unless you say, hey, I'm dyslexic. Of course you're gonna mess up. Everybody makes mistakes, but nobody's gonna know. Like when you're playing basketball or when you're on the track or whatever sport that you do, when you make that 3-pointer, nobody knows that you're dyslexic. When you win the race, nobody knows you're dyslexic unless after the race you're like, hey, I'm dyslexic. I mean, that's not the point. Like, you're brilliant, you're smart, and everything's gonna get better just as soon as you just gotta take your time. It's gonna be a long journey, but somebody who's successful is not gonna have a story to tell unless you go through struggles. So just know that you're gonna be successful, you're gonna do great things, just keep your head high and do not give up. And if you have bullies, forget them. They're bullying you because they're jealous, they're haters. Forget them. Everybody who's successful has people that they don't like.
For me personally, it got better when I realized the benefit of being dyslexic. When I was in the school in Chicago, I didn't take any art classes, but when I went away to Hotchkiss, I took foundation design. I was like, oh wait, I really, really like this. And then there was another class, we had an architecture class, but it was only for upperclassmen. And I got special permission to take that as a lowerclassman. And I started winning like school prizes for that. So I was like, why am I so, I don't understand. Why am I so good at this? And I think that, no, I was not and I think that's when I realized that it was because I'm dyslexic. That is what it is giving me. So I think that once you find the benefit of it, because you know that's going to take you a longer time to read. You know that this is the problem, but if you find the beauty of it, that's when it's going to get better. Because that's when it got better for me. I was like, I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah.
I really am, because it's a gift. I mean, I'm in love with architecture. I'm in love with designing things, and I've been thankful enough to be actually good at it and to win prizes for it. And I think it's because I'm dyslexic. So you have to find that thing that it's giving you, because it's something good. There's some good there. You just have to look for it. And once you find it, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah,
thank you.
there you go.